Oh, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the program. My name is Stuart Davis. I am a flawed man of God. I am a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I am trying to do is offer some insights, glimpse into the life of the thoughts, feelings, and takes of what I consider to be an average Christian. Um, and take from that what you will. I am a non denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular denomination or doctrine. I'm just in the Word, studying it as best I can, asking questions where I can, and giving my impressions as I go through it. The layman, if you will. And that's something that I think that many of us can relate to. And part of the reason why I started this program. And even more so, if you are looking to start a relationship with Christ, if you are looking for something more than your existence here, if something is nagging at you and telling you that there might be something to all this Christian mess, then let me tell you, welcome to the program. This is part of one of the main reasons I started this show, is to offer you kind of just a glimpse, because I know that there are a lot of stereotypes. There's a lot of ideas and impressions that people get when they think about Christianity, that it's a cult, or it's some place where everybody goes to be fake, or it's some place where you go and you either get judged or be judged by other people. It's not. It's full of people. If you're in the right church, it's full of people who are broken. We're all broken. You, me, everybody else. And when you go in, you find people who are just trying to center themselves on the Word, learn more about Scripture, learn more about Christ, live a life within those tenets, and help their fellow man out. And like I said, if you're in the right church, you'll find plenty of fellowship. You'll find plenty of worship of the Word of Christ. And what you'll find here is very much the same. Very much the same. Only in a less formal setting, in a less learned setting. Like I said, I'm a layman. This is a place. Think of this as a small primer of somebody you might meet if you walk into a church, a non-denominational church. This is if you also enjoy just listening to Christian content, discussions on Christian issues, Christian opinions on current events, world goings on and whatnot. Also, welcome. That's what this channel is all about. Is talking about God, talking about Christ, talking about the culture of Christianity, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because while God is perfect, we are flawed. We are very flawed, and we will make mistakes left and right. And it's important for us to be upfront about that. So hopefully you guys all had a great weekend. Mine had its ups and downs. I had some pretty low lows with some events that took place, but also you count your blessings where it is. You count your blessings, and luckily for me, I've been blessed with an amazing family and an amazing church family to lean on when things go awry. So what I take away from that is that even though there was some sadness, there was also much happiness to be had with the fact that there are people around me and my family who are right there for you, who will pick up the phone or reach out with a text message and a kind word and say, how are you doing? How are you doing? How can I help? How can I help you? So, again, that's one of the things when the church body is going well, outside of whether the fundamentals are being taught at your church or at a church that you decide to join. the congregation should be pretty attentive to each other, much like a close circle of friends or a tight-knit family or community, welcoming the outsiders, but also very attentive to its fellow congregants. So lucky me, blessed me, and couldn't ask God for much more than all the things I have. It is beyond what I deserve. And so, what we'll be talking about tonight, we are going to be continuing in Deuteronomy. And one of the things you'll notice with Deuteronomy, if you've caught us on the past couple of episodes where we've been reading in Deuteronomy, is we have left Numbers and Leviticus behind, but we're rehashing pretty much everything that happened in Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, minus a lot of the numbers so far, and the very we'll call it boring, we'll call it dry, legalistic language in Leviticus and Numbers. But Moses, what we're going to find today is Moses has come a long way, right? Not just a long way geographically, but a long way in his development as a human being, as a man of God, a great man of God. And we think about this, and this is something I've touched on behind when we talk about Moses, and as we've kind of gone through this Bible reading with him, Moses starts off. We'll go through we'll skip over the childhood and being raised as royalty, which is, he's not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but he ends up getting given one at a very young age by the ruling class in Egypt. And but he's got his issues, right? He ends up getting chased off by his own people, basically, kind of talking about, making him worried about ratting him out. Pharaoh gets wind that he kills an Egyptian because he was defending his own people. So he's on the lam. God finds him and then he goes, "Hey, I need you to be the man to lead these guys with me out of Egypt and into the promised land. You are a fulfillment of a promise I made to your ancestor Abraham many years ago." And Moses, being kind of a speech impeded guy that he is like, "Yeah, I don't think so, God. I don't think I'm the right guy for you." But he quickly changes his tune. He puts his faith in God. But he has faith in God. He does not have faith in himself. At least that's my reading, and what I get out of Moses at the beginning of his story. And he's worried about having to speak in front of people. Like we said, he's got a speech impediment of some kind. Maybe he's got a lisp. Maybe he's got, maybe he can't. Maybe he can't pronounce his R's. They come out as W's, something like that. Whatever it is, he does not feel like he can speak well in front of Pharaoh, in front of a formal setting. But here we are at the end of his life, having guided these very petulant people through the desert, through the wilderness, through a wide variety of events that shaped the course of the Old Testament drastically. And Moses in Deuteronomy is basically giving a grand speech that would put any of Ayn Rand's characters to shame. And if you've ever read Ayn Rand before, I find her somewhat. I find her writing to be somewhat annoying with all the monologuing, and I find many of her solutions to be silly and naive. She does do a good job at explaining the problem sometimes. Her takes on Christianity are stupid and do not reflect a lot of Christianity either. But, that's her. She's a raging atheist, so she's got her own issues since she's dead. Hopefully she made her peace. That's beside the point. Anyway, but she, if you've ever read her, I mean, her character, she loves to monologue with her characters. And Moses goes, "That's nice, lady, but this is how you do it." And so he's putting out this grand speech, basically going throughout the history of the Exodus and reminding the people, the great multitude of people, exactly where they've come from, and where they're going, and reminding them where they're going, and because he loves them. He loves them. He knows that he has a great deal of affinity for them, even though they irritate the snot out of him, and he knows God feels the same way. So he's doing what he can, as best he can, to set these folks up for success. And then he's going to hand them over to Joshua, and Joshua is going to lead the next generation of Hebrews, Israelites, into the promised land, and he will diminish and go and join his ancestors, as it were. So we will start tonight with Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. The 10 Commandments. I feel like we've heard this before. Chapter 5. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God has made a covenant with us at Horeb. It was not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire in the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare to you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up the mountain." And he said, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me." Probably the fastest commandment broken, which is odd, because it seems like one of the more difficult ones. Not for them. "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven, above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox, your donkey, or any of your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long and it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These are the commandments the Lord proclaimed in a loud voice to your whole assembly there on the mountain from out of the fire, the cloud, and the deep darkness. And he added nothing more. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. Yeah, again, if we want to review the 10 Commandments, rules to live by, right? Pretty easy, pretty good, pretty firm foundation God sets for us to establish a wholesome community here. There's more rules follow in Leviticus, but these are These are the big ones, right? And it starts at the top. Where did it start? With God. Number one. You shall have no other gods before me. I'm the beginning. I created this mess. You're going to respect me. You're gonna respect me. You're gonna understand that I am the reason that all of this exists. And it goes down from there. No, don't murder, don't steal, don't give false testimony, which many people confuse with lying. It's a form of lying, but it's very, I think it's a lot more specific and important as well, because that is something we do often. And some of these 10 commandments I've been trying to get. I need to get Eric again. I've told y'all this before. I need to get Eric on, and we need to have a discussion um about the Sabbath and discussing the Sabbath. I might do him. I might get Billy Dyer on here to talk about it, perhaps, because I mean that's another one that we violate on a regular basis. You want to see what we do? Think about things that you might do that could fit into these categories if you really want to nitpick it, right? Like the adultery one, people think that that's pretty cut and dry. Do you cheat on your spouse? Is that that's more than just a physical adultery. There's also, emotional stuff like that. Does it fall within the coveting your neighbor's wife? Are you looking at are you lusting after other women or other men, depending on your gender, which we'll say male and female biologic, and because that's what we do here. Shall not steal. Yeah, you probably don't go into Walmart and grab something and just walk out with it, but are you taking somebody else's Netflix ID and using it? Yeah, you might justify that to yourself by saying, hey, Netflix makes billions of dollars every year. They're not going to miss that, but still stealing, right? Give false testimony against your neighbor. Say you do that at work about somebody. Do you put somebody else down at work because you want to get ahead? Maybe you bring that up. I've seen that happen a million times before. Honor your father and mother. Get in an argument with your parents. Observe the Sabbath day. How often are you working on Sunday? Are you skipping church to go to, a sporting event? Do you find yourself working? Are you a business owner who is open on Sundays? In an industry where you could be closed on Sunday. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord. You GG and JC, I do that a ton. I used to be one of the worst offenders about that. It comes out of the mouth real quick. That was a decision I made a few years ago now to stop doing altogether. And I feel better about it. But yeah, that is one. Whew, man, that was a big one for me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything heaven and that's basically false idols, right? I'm not going to get into that one because then you get some people who really want to tear into the Catholics and the Orthodox over stuff. We're not going to get into that, but you shall have no other gods before me. Are you serving two masters? And this is something I've talked about before. More so if you see me on Twitter than on here, unless it's to discuss. And unless it's to discuss, when me and Eric have our, problems at the pulpit, what preachers and other Christian influencers do. Are you preaching Christ? Are you preaching the gospel? Are you preaching Christ? Are you preaching what God says, or are you preaching unrelated or unfounded, political ideologies that you believe in more? Politics is a false idol in and of itself. And I'm just, like I said, I've got my own political opinions, and sometimes I have to take a really good look and think maybe that's not congruent with what God wants. But I'm not going to tell. But I try to keep that very separate from when I discuss God And I don't like it when people go, Jesus was a socialist, or Jesus would have been a capitalist, or Jesus would have been this. Shut up. Jesus was very apolitical. And why would he fall into an ideology? He's the truth. That's kind of something that everybody's trying. Jesus is the center, right? And everything else, we're all trying to rationalize an ideology that makes sense the most, or what really works. Jesus works. Jesus works. And that's why I don't like that. And you see people do it, and that's part of the reason why me and Eric do that stream on every other Tuesday to talk about it. Because you see, it's a dangerous thing, right? It's hubris. It's idolizing politics. It's idolizing this thing. It's such an easy trap for us to fall into. I fall into it myself. I'm very pro Second Amendment. I'm not unapologetically pro Second Amendment, but I'm not going to point to the Bible and say that God gives me license to do it. That God is Second Amendment. God is pro gun. It's not. To me, it's largely outside of that. And so I don't like it when people preach politics from the pulpit, or if you're a pastor or a major Christian influencer, preach any type of politics from whatever platform you have. You have to make sure that you separate that, right? Separate that. And I don't do the best job about it. I can be very salty, sarcastic, and biting in my words when I see somebody else do it. I'm not going to be the best witness for anybody. And I've been very open about that. That's a struggle I have. But I see it irritates me so much. I got into it. I'll talk about that next on Tuesday when Eric's on. But got into it on Twitter last night because you've got people who want to preach about identity politics and be divisive about things. I don't like it. And when I get it, I get mad when I see it. And when I get mad, I use my words. And they're not always nice. And it's a difficult thing to determine when you feel like you're doing the right thing, and you feel like, and the other person's not listening, to determine how much of what I'm saying is good and how much of what I'm saying is not good. And some people will take probably the correct path. What I probably is probably the correct path. I'm not saying anything at all. But I'm not always convinced that's the right thing either. So I don't know where that happy medium is. So I'm just, I'm trying to build a better mousetrap here, folks. So, this is where we see when we go through this is what we see when we go through the 10 Commandments. This is where you can be breaking the 10 Commandments every day, right? This is why we are a broken people. And this is why you should give grace to the people around you. Because I guarantee you know somebody, and they probably make you more angry than others because of the way they behave, right? But remember the way you behave. Remember the way you behave. And if you want grace, you should probably give it to other people around you. Again, I fit right into that. Not making any excuses here. I fit right into that. It's terrible. So, with that being said, now that I've shamed the entire human race and everybody, myself and anybody watching this, now that I've shamed all of us, let's continue, right? When you heard the voice out of the darkness, while the mountain was ablaze with fire, all the leaders of your tribes and your elders came to me, and you said, "The Lord our God has shown us his glory and his majesty, and we have heard his voice from the fire. Today we have seen that a person can live even if God speaks with them. But now, why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer. For what mortal has ever heard the voice of the living God speaking out of fire as we have and survived? Go near and listen to all that the Lord our God says. Then tell us whatever the Lord our God tells you. We will listen and obey." As we all know, They listen when we give them exact things to do. Like I need you to build this thing. It's going to be, 6 feet high by 8 feet wide. It's got to be this color and it's got to be in the shape of this. They'll do that all right. It's easy to listen to those instructions. But when you give them the other stuff, like, hey, you've got to do it this thing and this specific process. Oh, don't marry any of them Canaanite women. They're bad for you. And the next thing you know, Phineas is putting a spear through a chieftain because he's, doing the nasty with Canaanite woman. Right in front of everybody. Terrible, I tell you. The Lord heard you when you spoke to me, and the Lord said to me, I have heard what this people said to you. Everything they said was good. Oh, that their hearts would be inclined to fear me and keep all of my commands always, so that it might go well with them and their children forever. As a parent, yes. Yeah, I love it when my kid says he's going to do something, when my kids say they're going to do something good, and they're always going to be that way. And it's like, yeah, that would be really nice. And then in the back of your head, because you know what's going on with God, because God knows how it's all going to shake out. You're like, he's not. But it's good. It's good that they have that mentality. They've got that positive attitude, right? Good vibes only. But it's not going to work. It might get better. It doesn't in the Israelites' case, but maybe with your kids. Go, tell them to return to their tents, but you stay here with me so that I may give you all the commands, decrees, and laws you are to teach them to follow in the land I am giving them to possess. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the left or to the right. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. And there you go. That'll tie that in right here to the left. I thought that was pointing. Now this is a New International Version. I don't know how this was spoken immediately, but if we want to torque this out to today, do not turn aside to the right or to the left. You can interpret that as a political thing. Don't turn aside to politics. I mean, you're going to. We all do. But don't use God as a justification for it, unless it's something that you can put real scripture to. And it's a hill you want to die on, because you might just do that. Deuteronomy 6. What a great chapter title here. Love the Lord your God. These are the commands, decrees, and laws the Lord your God directed me to teach you to observe in the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess, so that you, your children, and their children after them may fear the Lord your God as long as you live, by keeping all his decrees and commands that I give you, and so that you may enjoy long life. Hear, Israel, and be careful to obey, so that it may go well with you, and that you may increase greatly in a land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your ancestors, promised you. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. Yeah. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk down along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates. Be proud of it. Be loud and proud about it. Don't be ashamed to love God. I mean, again, think about it. God's a great parent. He would love, everybody loves recognition. God as much as the next guy. So, be proud. Be proud of who created you. Be proud of the blessings that he has given you with life and with the good things that have come your way. And that what he has prepared for you after this life, even if what you're going through right now is miserable, there's better things in store for you. He promises that. And we see throughout the Bible, Old Testament and New, God fulfills his promise. You just gotta believe that he says that. When the Lord your God brings you into the land he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you a land with large flourishing cities you did not build, houses filled with all kinds of good things you did not provide, wells you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves you did not plant. Then when you eat and are satisfied, be careful that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. So, yep. When I just basically plant you into this great situation, this great setting, remember I did that, and that before that, you guys were slaves. When God last intervened significantly, we had Joseph. He had him telling dreams, sending dreams to Joseph and giving him the power to interpret them, and it gave him great influence. And God said, Joseph being the son of Jacob, of Israel, when that generation of Joseph dies, Egypt goes and immediately puts him into slavery. Who brought him out of slavery? It wasn't Moses. Moses was the figurehead, right? The mouthpiece, the rally point. God brought him out. Remember who took you out. Remember who's putting you in this great situation. All I ask for you is this: follow these rules. And people who like to think, and it's easy to think that the Bible is a bunch of rules and a bunch of punishments and a bunch of doom and gloom stuff that goes on. When you look at it, Leviticus is not even close to the U.S. code of legal code. It's not even close. We've got 30 some chapters in Leviticus. That's good. Leviticus is not even 30 chapters in the Bible, and they're not long chapters. These are your rules. These are your rules. And I'm going to give you judges, and I'm going to give you a path to find justice. I'm going to look, the government that God is better than any of the governments you can talk to: the communists, the ANCAPs, the capitalists, the representative democracies, all those folks out there. They all think they all got it all figured out. You didn't. God did. And when we get to Samuel, we're gonna see God go, yeah, you're not gonna like the other ways that we can do it, because this is what's gonna happen. He puts it all out there. Puts it all out there. This is why I like it said the Old Testament is great. The Old Testament is great. It points to Christ, and Christ fulfills prophecy, right? But we see how that path gets there. And we see all the great things God did before he sent. This makes it even more shameful that Christ had to come down and do what he did for all of us, that we are wretched people. It's not just the Israelites who are stiff-necked people. We all are. We all continue to be. As much as I like to bash on the Israelites. Where did I end up? Okay. Fear the Lord your God. Serve him only, and take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. For the Lord your God, who is among you, is a jealous God, and his anger will burn against you, and he will destroy you from the face of the land. Do not put the Lord your God to the test as you did at Massah. Be sure to keep the commands of the Lord your God and the stipulations and the decrees he has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so that it may go well with you, and you may go in and take over the good land the Lord promised on oath to your ancestors, thrusting out all your enemies before you, as the Lord said. In the future, when your son asks you, what is the meaning of these stipulations, decrees, and laws the Lord our God has commanded you? Tell him, we were slaves in Pharaoh in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Before our eyes, the Lord sent signs and wonders, great and terrible, on Egypt and Pharaoh and his whole household. But he brought us out from there to bring us in and give us the land he promised on oath to our ancestors. The Lord commanded us to obey all these decrees and to fear the Lord our God, so that we might always prosper and be kept alive, as is the case today. And if we are careful to obey all this law before God, the Lord our God, as he commanded us, that will be our righteousness. That'll end it for tonight. At least the readings. But yeah, look, and this isn't just for you. These blessings and these rules, all this stuff is not just for you. This is for all. This is for your children and your children's children and generations to come, right? Tell them. Keep this going. Teach them. Teach them to be righteous. Teach them why they are so blessed. Because if they're born into this good stuff, they'll take it for granted. And that might be something that we see so often with good and righteous people, is that their kids sometimes don't. Did they fail them at some point? Or did their kids just piss it all away? I mean, we see things fall apart with Solomon. We see things fall apart. Well, we haven't talked about that yet. We haven't got to that part of the Old Testament yet. But when you read the story, you read the Bible, you see that Noah's kids, Adam with Cain. We see these sons. They don't appreciate the things that are given to them. The kids, they don't appreciate what's given to them. Aaron's kids, we assume that it wasn't just stupidity that got them deaded. We assume that. I don't know. Teach your kids. I believe children are our future. Love that movie. But seriously, teach your kids. I got to do a better job myself. Man, I know it's one of the things that scares me the most. My kid's going to believe. And is that going to be my fault? Did I not do a good enough job? Did I not steer them well enough? Did I not teach them? That's a huge responsibility on me. I've been given charge, me and my wife, my family around me, we have been given charge of bringing up these kids to know God. These are lives and souls that God has put in our care. Did we do good enough job teaching them? All right, that said, thank you for tuning in tonight. We have got, I'm trying to see if, trying to get a date established when I'm going to have Christian Mario from Twitter on. He is a hilarious Zoomer. I think he qualifies as a Zoomer. I don't know. I'll get his exact name, but get him on to talk about just kind of some of the things that he's about. That's a generation I just can't put my finger down on very well. But get him on here. Maybe get him on here on a semi-regular basis. I've been talking to an Anglican guy with some really good things to say, with some really good opinions, and love to get him on here to talk about, some of his writings, some of his upbringings in the church. But first off, talk about, the Anglican denomination. But he's got some stuff he's got to get done, some work he's got to get done. Getting Billy Dyer on here again. I got to reach out to him. Eric will be on Tuesday. The Nick Rekieta stream, homeschool stream, is going to be coming up. Like I said, I've got one person I'm trying to nail down for that panel. Me, Eric, Raff, and Nick all together talk about homeschool and private school versus public school. And yeah, that's kind of all the stuff kind of in the pipeline at the moment. I think that's all I've got brewing right now. But you never know. That might change. Somebody might say they want to come on. In the meantime, guys, I will be back on tomorrow night for more of this. This has been great. This has been great discussion. It's less trying to go through and get you interested in reading Leviticus and Numbers, and more meat, real discussion, something to really discuss well. That's easy for me a stupid guy, a stupid Christian on here just trying to explain explain things well, when I find it to just be difficult to keep my eyelids open generally. So, everybody, all of you guys, uh, whether you agree with what I say tonight or not, um, God bless you. If you like what I say and you want to hear more, by all means, like, subscribe, share. If you know somebody who you think needs to hear this or would like to hear this, share it with them. Comment. It's a live chat. Lauren Brown on Facebook dropped in exactly when I was talking about the politics um, part, I believe. And yeah, I mean, if you think I've got it all wrong, by all means, let me know. Um, if you got an insight or way something hits you differently, let me know, because that's what this is all about, is interacting in that way. Because I can read the Bible one way, and because of my experience and the way that life has guided me to think the things that get the things that I get out of the Bible, somebody might have a better insight. That's always great to hear. I might not agree with it. It might be wrong. I might be wrong. I'll try to be as humble as possible, because I'm very much prepared to be told that everything I said is so many so many opinions and ideas I had about Christianity, about my faith, are wrong when I get up and stand before judgment. So we should be humble in our approach, but just seeking righteousness and standing up when we feel we are right. So, with that said, everybody, good night and God bless.